Hey guys, so next I'm going to talk about something else that's really interesting is going to be about stocks and bonds and all this other stuff about stocks. So one thing that I talked about was how the private military institutions are getting all of their power. Now here's something else that's really interesting that's compounding the issue even more. When you have companies that are publicly traded, like most weapons companies are, or defense companies are publicly traded corporations, something that's very interesting starts to happen. I'm going to give a little bit of background information in case you don't know how stocks work. If there's a company A and company A wants to go public, which means you join the stock market, um, people can invest money into your company. And what that means is, like, let's say I own company A. Someone can come to me and say, I like your company because this is what the, company's growth looks like. It's just going up, 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 up. And they say, I want to invest in you. So they give me $100, and I take the $100 and I go buy one of the products that I'm selling for my company. So if it's like a weapons company, I'm selling like bombs or missiles, and I take the $100 and I buy all the parts and I build a missile and I sell it for 1 million. So now I have $1 million because I just made $1 million missile with the parts that I got. Maybe it's not one guy with $100. Maybe it's 100 guys with $100. Who knows? Maybe it's 1,000 guys with $100. Anyways, that's not the point. The point is, I take this money from everybody that's invested into the company. I go to my employees, I say, hey guys, we just had investors, we have money now. So what we do is we take this money, we invest it into the parts, we build a bomb, we sell the bomb for $1 million to company B who wants to deploy it. Company B gives us $1 million. We take the $1 million, we chop it up into a bunch of $100 bills, or let's say $105 bills. We send everybody that had sent us $100 back 105. And now everybody that invested in us is happy because not only did our company just grow, we're happy. Why? Because our company grew. They're happy. Why? Because they gave us 100 and they got back 105 or 110 or 120. Who knows? That's something that the company will decide on their own. And we give this money back to them. And they're happy because they just made a profit and they now have faith in our business. So next time these investors come around, we say, hey, this time we want to build 10 bombs. What do we do? And they say, you know what, don't worry about it. This time we have 1 million guys and they're each willing to invest $200. So now they invest all that money and we take it and we build all these bombs or guns or bullets or whatever it is. If we're building drones or it doesn't matter at this point. We're building stuff for them. And we're not building it for the people that invested into us, but we're building for company B, C, D, E, F, and G. And we take the money from the investors again, the 200, we put it into the company buys the materials, the company pays the employees with this money, the company builds the products, the company ships the products out to the companies that want to buy them, like the private militaries and or the governments who are going to deploy them. Usually it's the governments. And we're able to turn a profit because what we can build for, let's say, $200,000, we can sell for 1 million. And we're making a massive amount of profit. So we can show that our company is growing at a very, very high rate. And this encourages more people to put money into our company because every time they give us 200, we'll give them back 250. Or they give us 1,000 and we'll give them back 1,200. So it all depends. And these companies can grow at an exponential rate because it's not one investor, it's not two investors, it's the entire country. Every individual that lives in the United States can go and Google stock market or whatever and find a company that they're willing to invest in, whether that company is Apple, whether that company is McDonald's, whether that company is a private military institution. You can invest money into that company. And when this company makes a product and it sells that product and it profits, it pays those investors back. It might pay them in dividends or it might pay them just flat out. That's up to the companies to decide. That's up to the money managers to decide. I'm giving you guys a basic outline of sort of how this system works. The reason that the United States military organizations are so incredibly powerful is because of the combined effort of all the people living in the United States that are willing, they're doing this by their own willingness, are willing to give these company money because they know that this company is going to make a product that's valuable, is going to sell it for a crazy amount of profit, and is going to pay them back, whether that's in dividends, which is like a fraction of what you get back every month, or whatever, however it works. This is just a basic, I'm not going to go into details, this is just basics. So the private militaries of the United States are incredibly powerful. specifically because they have access to all of the pockets of every single American or any foreign person who's willing to invest in the American stock market. So in essence, these companies that might only have 5,000, 10,000, 100,000 employees are being funded by millions or billions of people. And so we're basically fueling the war. So the other countries that are mad at the United States, they're not mad at us because we're bad people. They're not mad at us because, they don't know what to be mad at us for. They know that we've done something wrong. They don't know what exactly it is yet, but I'm kind of shedding light on that right now. They're mad at us because, in a way, we are directly contributing to the growth of these companies that are destroying their countries and the countries around their countries. So, and in a couple of minutes, that's why they hate us. And it's not because we're bad people, it's because how our system works. And our system is designed to fuel these companies with unlimited amounts of cash. As long as they can turn a profit and pay back their investors, this is the fundamental principles that our society is based on. As long as they can turn a profit and pay back the investors, they are able to make money. And as long as they're making money, their investors are making money. Now, here's something else that's really interesting that you might not have known. When you go to work, for example, if you have a 401k, okay, your 401k, it's not just this magical account that your money sits in, and then when you retire, like someone like Santa Claus comes to your house and gives it to you and gives you extra. No, that's not how it works. When you have a 401k, the money is put into a company. This company has millions of people, if not billions of people, who it manages money for. So I'm person A. I have a job at McDonald's, or maybe I have a job, I don't know, something more prestigious, like I work at Apple, okay? And I'm like a really cool guy at Apple. I make, a good 120,000 a year. And I want to retire when I'm, I don't know, 50 years old. Let's just say, or 65, who cares? But all this money that I put into my 401k every single year goes to a company. We'll call it the 401k company. The 401k company collects all this money every month from every single person's paycheck. And they don't do this by force. They do this willingly. People sign up for it. It's sort of like this government thing that everybody signs up for. I remember when I worked at Pizza Hut, they actually... I refused to sign the form, and the manager took the form, and he signed it for me. He signed it for me. This is like, I opted out of it. Like, I said, I don't want to participate in this, and he signed it for me. In essence, he was like, you don't have the right to opt out of this. You have to be in it if you want a job, and that's the way it goes. And then he signed it, and he put the paper in. So now what happens? Well, the 401k company, for lack of a better term, will take all this money that's being collected every single month from the paychecks of every single American. They'll take this money and give it to Company B. We'll call Company B like a management firm. It's like a money management firm. Okay, well, the money management firm has a bunch of employees. We'll say they have, 10 employees. It's usually a lot more. It's like 1,000 or 1,000,000. I don't know. I'm not going to guess. Maybe like a couple hundred or 1,000. Okay. These employees are trained stocks dealers. It's like you have, anything dealer, like you can deal hamburgers, you can deal drugs, you can deal, I don't know, like cards. Well, you can deal stocks too. And when the 401k company goes to that company that manages the money, okay, the company managing the money, they only have one agenda, and their agenda is profit. They don't look at which companies are, like morally correct. They don't look at which companies are aiding the direction of the world. They don't look at which companies have good principles or whatever. I'm sure they consider those things at some point in time. I'm not saying they're all bad. I'm sure that they consider these things, but realistically, what it boils down to is money, dollars and cents. So when a defense company is making a lot of profit, I mean, you could build a bomb for 200,000, you sell it for $1 million, bang, that's big money right there. So when these investors see companies like that, they can't resist. This is your job to make other people money at this point. So you look at these graphs, and if you see a graph like this that's just going up, 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 you know what I mean? You want in on that. You see a graph like this that's going down, you don't want to deal with that. You don't want to mess with that. So typically they invest in these companies that are going up. A company like this is perfect. You buy in for a little bit, and next thing you know, the $1 million in the account that you were managing is now $2 million. And you know what? You pay back the investors like 5-10% every however long, and the company gets to keep the rest. And you know what the company does if you make them $1 million in a couple of weeks? They send you a check for like, I don't know, 100,000. I don't know how much it is. I'm just throwing numbers at you guys. This is not like, I'm not saying this is exactly how much they give, but this is just an idea. So the investor at this point is extremely happy. Why? Because he takes that 100,000 and he buys himself a nice car, and he gets to take his girlfriend out to dinner. But what he doesn't realize, if he invested in one of these private military institutions, is that he's directly contributing to the war that's going on in various parts of the world. And he's not contributing it by taking a rifle and going and shooting people. He's not contributing to it by showing you propaganda and telling you that the Chinese are bad or the communists are bad or the United States is bad. No, he's doing it by directly funneling funds from other people's 401ks into the accounts of the banksters. It's possible that you can invest in a bank. They're just as bad. I'm not just targeting the private military organizations. I'm just saying it can apply to anything. It could apply to companies that are doing research on human sterilization. This is something that you can read about. It's very interesting, very frightening, but it's going on right now everywhere around us. It could be companies that are that have child slave workers and whatever. So they don't do this by going to the company and looking to see what that company is doing. They don't do this by going to where they produce their burgers or kill their cows to see what kind of cows they're killing or what sort of environments these cows live in. They don't do that. All they do is they look at a chart like this, they read a little bit about it on the news, which is usually like written in a way for people to read it and go, oh, that's cute, or oh, that's cool, or oh, I don't like that. And there's a lot of that. There's a lot of telling you what you should think about a company, and that's a different talk for a different day. But they look at these charts and they look to see which ones are making a lot of money, and they put money in those companies so that they can make a lot of money too. And they either directly or indirectly fuel the, for lack of a better term, war machine, because it's a machine. It has many different parts. It's not just this one entity. We can't just say, hey, let's dislike this person or like this person. No, it doesn't work that way. You have to understand the entire system of how this all sort of works. And if there's anyone that wants to disprove what I'm saying, feel free to do so. I'd be glad to hear that I make no sense and that all of this is crazy talk. That would make me feel a lot better. I sleep a lot better at night. But until this is sort of going on and this is the world that we live in, I feel like I kind of have to talk about this, because I don't think anyone else is breaking it down the way I am and explaining why this machine is working the way that it is. I don't think anyone really appreciates what's going on, and people sort of say, well, I'm not really a part of this. I didn't blow up Hiroshima. I didn't send drones to Yemen. I'm not a bad guy. No, you're not. But what you have to realize is that your 401k, which you directly contribute to by going to work, is being managed by somebody who's just looking at graphs like this, who's taking that money and funneling into an account that's researching, I don't know, biological weapons used to kill entire villages so that they could take over the mining operations that's going on there, or use it to cover up conspiracies, or use it to make other governments look bad, or use it to make them look good, or use it to destabilize their infrastructure, or use it to manipulate businesses and companies and whatever. It's people need to be aware that this is going on, and I'm just giving broad examples. I'm not trying to target anybody or any organization. I'm just trying to say that you can't just claim ignorance. If you watch this video, you sort of have an idea of how, if you have a 401k, you are directly contributing to these sorts of things. You can choose, like, don't get me wrong, you can choose when you get a 401k, you can say, I want to invest in these sorts of companies, and the investor will sort of take that and go with it. But I can promise you, absolutely promise you one thing right now. If an investor sees that a stock is doing 10 times better than the one that you want to be in, that investor is not going to take that money and say, I'm going to do the right thing and I'm going to invest it in a company that's making, I don't know, 100% less money. and I'm just going to be a nice guy and do what he wants me to do. No, that investor is going to take that money and he's going to put it in the business that's making the most money right now. And the businesses that are making the most money right now are the private militaries and the technology companies that are all kind of in bed together, and that's going on right now, and it's happening right now. And whether or not you like to admit it, if you have a 401k, if you go to work, if you pay taxes, you're a part of this machine. You're part of this system. And if you don't understand the system, now you sort of have a better idea. And what you decide to do about this is totally up to you. I'm not trying to tell you how you should live your life. I'm not trying to tell you that you should be a better person. I honestly don't care what you decide to do with your life. That's not up to me to decide. But what I am trying to do is sort of shed some light on this whole beast and on this whole machine, and get people to understand in a very simple way what is fueling this fire. Why is it that people hate the United States? And it's because of this. So I hope you guys enjoyed watching this, and feel free to share it. Feel free to ask me questions. Feel free to try and disprove me. Whatever you guys want to say, I'm happy to hear it. Thanks for watching.